My apologies, everybody. We were having some technical difficulties. There's going to be part one and part two of this episode. You can find part one. Obviously, you probably already watched it. And then this will be part two. We're going to take off on where we left off, which was the video of Chris Hairston. All right, so if you watch Chris Hairston, he's right tackle, number 75, and it's going to replay the video right here. Now watch him. He relies heavily on the double team by Kenny Wiggins, and Kenny Wiggins does his job and picks up the blitz by the linebacker, knocks him up pretty good, by the way, and instead of Chris Hairston holding on to the block, keeping his man, at the line of scrimmage and pushing him across the line of scrimmage, he whiffs on the play, thinking that Kenny Wiggins is going to go ahead and help him block, and he doesn't. So that leaves Melvin Gordon vulnerable for a tackle for loss on the play. Now, obviously, that's a big issue, but at the same time, what I look for most of the time, if there's issues, is whether or not those issues are fixable. Now, in my opinion, this issue is fixable. This issue was something that, he wasn't really thinking about having to block the guy on his own. He thought Kenny Wiggins was going to help him out. Kenny Wiggins had to pick up the blitz. So to me, that's more of a mental error, more of a mental issue that he'll be able to look at on film, and the coaches will be able to tell him, like, look, you need to get this block regardless of whether or not it's a double team. You need to make sure that you take the guy out of the play. And to me, that's easily dealt with. Not necessarily that Chris Hairston doesn't have the capability to block. It was more of a mental error that is better, a problem that had been better done now in the preseason rather than later on in the season. And, he'll learn from that. He's still a young guy, third or fourth year player. So he's still got a lot to learn. But I still think he's a solid backup. He did very well pass blocking for the most part. And, so I'm not too worried about that part of the offensive line. Now, there was a lot of sacks. There was a lot of missed, pickups. But what most people don't realize is the Saints defense was blitzing a majority of the time. Manti Te'o blitzing. The other linebackers blitzing, safeties blitzing. So that's going to happen when you don't have a quarterback that's poised enough or commanding enough. A quarterback has to be a field general. And once again, in order to do that, you have to be able to conduct the offensive line, conduct the wide receivers, and conduct the running backs. Now, if you see a blitz coming, Phillip Rivers is going to audible that blitz. And not only that, he's going to tell the offensive line, look, you need a block here, you need a block here. If Melvin Gordon's going out for a route, if there's too many guys blitzing him, he's going to tell him, no, you need a block. There's going to be a blitz coming, or wait and then go out, or pick up a linebacker on the way through. So one of those things is going to happen. Kellen Clemens isn't going to do that. So that has a big part of why the offensive line had its issues, because there was not a quarterback that was seasoned enough, that had been in enough, game situations. There's not very many 14-year quarterbacks on our roster. Phillip Rivers is that guy. Phillip Rivers makes a huge difference when it comes to the offense and how they play. To me, our biggest issue with our offensive line was the run block. We were not getting enough push. We were not blowing guys up downfield. We were not getting any of the running backs, adequate space and holes to run through. With that said, you can always fix that. You can always, get stronger, get tougher, and that'll come with time. And the starting offensive linemen, even though that their run blocking isn't much better, it's definitely enough to get Melvin Gordon to where he needs to go. And especially if Phillip Rivers isn't in the game, most of the time the guys are going to be thinking run. It's preseason, so I guarantee you the offense is trying to run the ball. So it's a given that the run blocking and the run offense is going to suffer a little bit. No excuses, but you have to put all factors into play. Another big negative. Horrible backup quarterbacks. Cardale Jones had a little bit of a upside, but for the most part, both of them were very bad. And if you really think about it, that's how it is. My producer made a very good point. That's how most backup quarterback situations are. How many backup quarterbacks do you know that can take over a team after their starter goes down, other than New England? And that's because they can put anybody in there, and Bill Belichick will turn them into a monster. I mean, look what happened to Matt Castle. And then look what happened to Matt Castle when he left. So there's not a lot of backup quarterbacks out there that could do what their starters do, especially when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback like Phillip Rivers. But even with that said, in my opinion, Kellen Clemens has been a big detriment to the backup position. To me, he's been a detriment to Phillip Rivers for not giving him any competition whatsoever. Yes, he knows the playbook. Yes, he's been on the team, so he understands the offense a little bit better. But for the most part, he has been dry. He has been slow. He has been confused. He has been just erratic, and it just seems like he's not comfortable in the position. He's not good in the pocket. He's not good at holding on to the ball and waiting for the opportune moment. To me, he's a check down passer. And that's a big issue when you're talking about a quarterback. I'm going to go ahead and play you this video right here. Now, a lot of people give me, crap for talking about Kellen Clemens and think that I'm being too hard on him. But look at this play right here. Look at his head the entire play. His head is staring down Keenan Allen, staring down the wide receiver. I mean, you know what he's going to do as soon as he snaps the ball because he's looking at him the whole way. He's not looking downfield. He's not looking at his other receivers, and he's not being deceptive. Another thing, you should have known that when that defensive lineman went into pass coverage, that you had enough time to hold on to the ball and get the ball off. That was great pass protection, even in safety territory. He had at least 4 seconds to throw the ball. The other defensive lineman wasn't even trying to rush him, jumping around in the air, dancing in front of him. You could plainly see him jumping around, putting his hands up, trying to block, and Kellen Clemens still manages to throw him the ball. If that had been Phillip Rivers, boom, Antonio Gates pass right down between the linebacker and the defensive back. But Kellen Clemens doesn't have that vision. Kellen Clemens doesn't have that poise. Kellen Clemens doesn't have the ability to put the ball where the rest of the defense isn't going to be able to get it, and only the wide receiver is going to get it. Those are my issues with Kellen Clemens. There's another play where he completely overthrows Tyrell Williams. Tyrell Williams is 6'4", long wingspan, jumps high, overthrew him, which would have been a perfect, pass by Phillip Rivers, would have been a big yard play, a big yardage catch, and he just overthrows him. He had plenty of time. The offensive line did their job on that play, held the pass protection, and Kellen Clemens can't seem to do most things right. He got a lot more comfortable during the later quarter, before the half ended, but nothing special. No big plays for the most part. He had one big play with Travis Benjamin, but I could have thrown that pass to Travis Benjamin with how wide open he was and how fast he is. So to me, I've been trying to like Kellen Clemens. I've been trying to give him a chance since he got here. He's been with the team, 3 years now? And every preseason, he looks terrible. Terrible. He hasn't improved that much. He's been behind Phillip Rivers. He's a lot older than most of the backups that you want to be backup and you want to be learning behind your quarterback. So to me, I'm kind of done with Kellen Clemens at this point. He hasn't shown any reason why the fans should get excited about him, why the fans should be behind him, why the coaches should be behind him. Maybe he's showing something in practice, but it hasn't shown on the field, in my opinion. Now, you could say Cardale Jones did somewhat the same. They both averaged about 9 yards per pass. But to me, Cardale Jones looks a lot more poised, a lot more comfortable, a lot better vision, a lot better handle on the ball. He's a lot bigger. He's a lot taller. You know, Kellen Clemens is over here getting blocked by defensive linemen. He's gotten blocked at least 2-3 times in this preseason, the last 2 weeks, by defensive linemen. I don't know if that's because he's too short. I don't know if that's because he underthrows the ball, doesn't put it high enough. I don't know. But to me, Cardale Jones, unfortunately, he was not given the opportunities that I think that he should have gotten because the offensive line, at that point, you had third and fourth string guys and were not holding up their end. So, but even with the offensive line, to me, he did just as good as, if not better, than Kellen Clemens did. He kept getting sacked, but I wouldn't necessarily put that too much on him. There might have been once or twice where he should have stepped up into the pocket, and yes, his pocket presence does need to improve. He needs to learn how to step up into the pocket when he feels the presence coming from the defensive ends. He needs to get rid of the ball faster. But to me, I'd rather have a guy that doesn't get rid of the ball fast enough and is actually trying to let the play develop and trying to let receivers get downfield and trying to let receivers get into their stride than Kellen Clemens, who checks down the ball every chance he gets. You know, throw a little pass here, a little pass there. Kellen Clemens had an opportunity, once again, good pass protection on another play. I believe it was third. What was it? Let's see. It was third down. Third down, and I believe 19. And Kellen Clemens would have had an easy 30-yard catch by Antonio Gates, wide open, down the field, and he decided to check down to Melvin Gordon, take the safe pass, not try to do anything big, the usual with Kellen Clemens, and gets Melvin Gordon blown up. The linebacker had been targeting Melvin Gordon that entire play, and you're going to throw it right to him and get him jacked up? I mean, come on, man. Like, not only are you not doing well, but you're putting guys in bad positions. You're putting guys in positions to where they can possibly get injured. So to me, that's an issue. Back to Cardale Jones. My opinion, very precise, very accurate, knows how to put the ball in the right position for only being a second-year quarterback. He's got a great arm, heaves it like no problem. Overthrew one once, but in that game, but in my opinion, he overthrew that because he saw that he was getting rushed, he needed to get rid of the ball, and put it in a place where only his wide receivers can get in, not the cornerbacks. Unfortunately, it wasn't the Keenan Allen or Tyrell Williams or Travis Benjamin. It was a fifth-string, sixth-string wide receiver. So that would have been another potential big play that he would have made if he had been on the first team or even the second team. And then there was another play. If not for a pass interference call, it would have been at least a 30-yard pass play, beautifully thrown, beautiful spiral, right on target, pass interference. So that would have been a big play made by him that Kellen Clemens, I don't think, would have made. I don't think he would have even attempted. So that's why I like Cardale better than Kellen. To me, Kellen looks confused. Cardale looks like he has done it before, like he's taken teams to a championship. Oh, yeah, he did. Let's see. But he's shown when given the time, time to make the pass, let receivers get into their rhythm, make their route, he can make the pass. He got the ball to Jamal Jones, to Jeremy Davis on multiple good quality thrown passes. Now, I did not see very many of those passes thrown by Kellen. Once again, he threw a pick. I'm not really too worried about that. People throw picks. Brett Favre, one of the biggest interception throwers in the league, still one of the best ever to play. So I'm not really worried about his interception, especially because he was constantly being hassled by the defense, hassled by the Saints. The Saints played very good defense that game. Not going to lie. They looked very good, but that's also what happens when you get to practice against a team, before the game, especially when you're doing very standard, basic powers, counters, very basic things. They're going to be able to pick up on that. If they're not, then they're not a professional team. Once again, I'm going to go through the negatives real quick before I go into the positives. Negatives. Obvious, O-line needs to get better. They looked horrible. Run blocking needs to improve. They need to stop having so many missed assignments. They need to get it together on that front. Need more penetration on defense. Depth at linebacker is very scary. A lot of people don't agree with me. I still think Manti Te'o is better than not having depth. I still think Manti Te'o is better than Kyle Emanuel. He's better than Joshua Perry. I think he's better than Dunbar. He's at least smarter. If not a great pass coverage, he at least knows how to run stop. He knows how to put guys in the right position. So I feel like we made a mistake on that part, letting Manti Te'o go so early in his career, where to me he's going to be getting into his prime. And to me, he has a great effect on the other linebackers on the defense. So I'm kind of upset about that one, even though most of you guys don't agree with me. Yes, he's injury prone, but who isn't on the Chargers? So to me, that's a bogus argument. Pass coverage, to me, we don't have – Denzel Perryman's not great in pass coverage. Jatavis Brown is okay in pass coverage. Corey Toomer and Dunbar aren't good in pass coverage. So those arguments go out the window also as far as Manti Te'o is concerned. Special teams needs a lot of help. Drew Kaiser, to me, he's not consistent. He is not consistently putting out long downfield punts. He whiffs. He makes shanks it sometimes and gets very short yardage punts. To me, that needs to change drastically. You cannot put the defense in the bad field position, and also you're putting the offense in bad field position at the same time. Because if the defense gets a stop, they're still farther away than they would if you got a 10, 15-yard punt, at the 10 or 15 rather than at the 40. We need better blockers on kick returns. No blocking on kick returns. No blocking on punt returns. If you want Isaiah Burst to make the plays that he's able to do, and he's shown the ability to do it, you need to give him the right amount of blocking, and that's special teams issue. We used to have a very good special teams. Even though Nate Kading was a choker, he was a lot better than, to me, Josh Lambo is. I think we made a mistake letting go of Nick Novak. I know that Nick Novak doesn't kick returns off very far. Lambo does, but to me, he's way more accurate than Lambo is, and that's another, to me, an iffy move that we made. Now, to talk about the defense. in particular. Okay, so first drive of the game, first play of the game. I'm sure you know what happened. You have a strong side set from the offense going left. None of the backers were set. Dzumbar and Kyle Emanuel, middle linebackers on top, to me did not communicate with the defense on what was going on, needing to shift, needing to be ready for the run. That's important. And to me, Manti Te'o was that guy too. I hate to keep bringing him up, but he was a vocal leader on that team, and he knew how to read offenses. I'm not sure if our guys, especially our backup guys, know how to do that. We were poor position on that play. Ended up giving up a 40, almost 50-yard touchdown. Once again, didn't shift over, didn't see the play developing, didn't have vision. But the one thing that I did notice that I don't think anybody else noticed, that even the refs didn't notice, which pissed me off, is that the offensive lineman had a huge hold. And yeah, I know it's tit for tat, but Dzumbar was going after and had somewhat of an angle on the running back, and he was held behind his pads, grabbed by his jerseys, and not let go. That is a holding call, and that is a huge blown holding call. Whether or not Dzumbar would have gotten the tackle is besides the point. He would have either surrounded him, made him change direction, made him slow down, bumped into him, something. And that holding call screwed it all up, and that's on the refs. And we've been known for getting blown calls by the refs. So I'm not going to give that too much of an excuse. But at the same time, that's a touchdown, which wouldn't have been a touchdown otherwise. Trey Boston, to me, on that play, he sacrificed positioning to try to make a run stop behind the line of scrimmage. So he wasn't in the right position. And then it was able to chase down the running back, but didn't wrap up on the dive. So that's the negative for that play. And I'm giving it to you guys because you want me to give both sides, and I'm going to give both sides. So that's that part. Second drive, though. From there on out, 9 punt returns. The defense forced the offense to punt 9 times straight. Yes, they screwed up on the first play. Yes, they looked bad that first play. A lot of touchdown on the first play. But they recovered. They held it together. They bend but didn't break. Their run defense looked good after that point. There was a couple times where you had a play where the defense allowed a big catch. I remember at least a 20-yard catch that one of the receivers made. That was Trevor Williams. Trevor Williams not covering, not horrible man coverage. And do you honestly believe that it would have happened if it would have been Casey Hayward, Jason Verrett, King, those type of guys? I don't think that would have happened. Trevor Williams, to me, needs a lot of work. But that's what happens in preseason. Let's see. Excuse me real quick. All right. So I want to get into a new segment today. I haven't really ironed out what the name is going to be, but I'm going to go with the bright side. Or today, let's see. I'm going to think about it with you guys real quick. How about we go with bright side of the day with Ernesto Vega. Now, I've given you the negatives. I've been objective. I've given you the side that you wanted, and I'm going to give both sides. Now, my favorite part, the positive sides. You have to look, once again, at all the aspects, all the factors, and all the reasonings. There are reasons why teams lose games. It's not always choking. It's not always bad luck. There are reasons, and you have to add up those reasons and whether or not those reasons are big enough to worry about. Preseason, for one. The offensive line did not have their starters, did not have Phillip Rivers, did not have on defense did not have Casey Hayward, did not have Jason Verrett, did not have Denzel Perryman. You know, but even with that, Trey Boston flying around the field, looking great, making big hits, getting behind the line of scrimmage, had a knockdown on the quarterback, huge knockdown, by the way. If the quarterback wouldn't have gotten off a second later, he would have gotten sacked, and it was a punishing hit. Then later on, ended up getting a sack afterwards. So to me, Trey Boston looked very good, and that's a positive. That's something that no one's talking about. Trey Boston looks very good. I think he's going to win the starting role. I think he's going to win the starting safety position. I thought, once again, Cardale Jones looked accurate for being a number 3 quarterback. Andre Williams, to me, he was a very bright spot in that offense. He was making very tough 4 or 5 yard pickups, and even with a horrible run offense, he looked good. To me, he seems like the guy that could be a third down, second down and short type of guy. And to me, that's huge. He's like a little cannonball. He gets that, he fights for the extra yard. And so far, he's been pretty consistent. To me, Kenjon Barner, he seems like a type of guy who can be a playmaker here and there, a Danny Woodhead perhaps. I know Brandon Oliver likes to be compared to Darren Sproles. I like him more as a Mike Tolbert, even though he's smaller. But Kenjon Barner, to me, is more of a Danny Woodhead, where you give him a little screen route or give him a nice short pass where he can make big plays and even, 20 yards here, 30 yards there. So to me, that's big. That's a huge upside. And let's see. Oh, one of my biggest issues is, once again, all the X fans, all the media, especially San Diego media, likes to talk negatives. Why aren't they talking about how beautiful the StubHub Center looked? Why aren't they talking about that? Everybody's giving negatives about the StubHub Center. It's too small, whatever, 21,000 fans. I'm sorry, but that stadium looks gorgeous. The new Jumbotrons, new seating, on the field seating. You're literally right there in the end zone, like right in front of the end zone, probably 15 feet away, 20 feet away. I mean, the players can go up and hug you if they wanted to. That's how close you are. Everything looks good. The cheerleaders look good. The drum line looks good. The cannon looks good. I'm so glad they brought back the cannon. The cannon sounds great, especially in that small stadium. It is a booming cannon. Fireworks, drum lines, the bugler. I mean, everything. I went preseason week 1, and it looked great. It looked great, and it was so amazing to be able to see those guys right there in your face on the sidelines when you're making touchdowns, middle of the field, 10, 20-yard line, either side of the field. I mean, it looks great, and nobody's talking about that. I don't see any articles about how great the experience is, how great it's going to look when it's real football, real regular season football. That's an issue to me. People want me to be negative as well as positive, but all they want to do is talk about the negatives. To me, that's an issue. Why is nobody talking about the fact that Keenan Allen is looking healthy and better than ever? Jason Verrett is looking healthy and better than ever. Even the Phillip Rivers looks healthy. He looks better than he did when he first got out there. He's moving better. I mean, the guy looks poised to make a big year this year. 4,000 yards, 4,500 yards, 30-plus touchdowns. I mean, the guy looks like he's ready, and he has the weapons to do it. Why is nobody talking about that? Why is nobody talking about all the diehard fans that are out there? Why is nobody talking about the fact that the Chargers have been beaten down, crushed, and that they still have a strong fan base? Yes, it's not as big as it once was, but that's a given when you have, teams that are mainly city teams. Well, we got a caller on the line. We got a Mike Jones on the line. Mike Jones. Yes, Mr. Mike Jones, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, good, man. You're our first caller on Bolt Up with Ernesto Vega.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I appreciate you calling in. I'm getting ready to ask you some questions right now. I hope you're up for it.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, man. First of all, I think the Chargers are ready to have a monumental season. I think they're ready to get back into the playoffs. I think they're ready to take the AFC West back. What do you think the record is going to be? What is your prediction, Mike?
All right. So I'm gonna predict we're gonna have a nine game winning season. Just because I think we're a better team than that, but we always have those injuries. So I'm thinking though we have enough depth that we're still gonna win 9 games and make the playoffs and beat the Raiders twice.
Ooh, yeah. You know what? I'm really excited to see these matchups this year. These AFC West battles are gonna be crazy, man. I mean, especially now that they're in the StubHub Center and the fans are gonna be right on top of everybody. All the players are gonna get to see all the diehards come out right in their faces. Like I said, these AFC West matchups are going to be battles. They're going to be wars. It's going to be some crazy, down to the wire like it always is. And, I think we have the tools to take back the AFC West, and I'm glad you think so also. 9-7, okay. I myself are going 10-6. I think that we will tie it with the Raiders. I think that the last game of the season is going to go ahead and be the tiebreaker, and it's going to be 10-6, 10-6, and we're going to win the division. That's what I think. But 9-7 is definitely doable, and like you said, you're giving them a cushion as far as injuries are concerned, because injuries, depending on who it is, definitely makes a difference. Especially last year when you had 21 guys on the injured reserve list. You take 21 guys off of any team, you're going to have issues, even the Patriots. Now, I know you probably heard a couple things about what I was talking about as far as the offensive line and, the defense needing to get more penetration, depth as far as linebackers concerned. What is your biggest concern, and do you think that we can overcome it?
My biggest concern is just having a new coaching staff. I think the team is stacked at every position. I think we're good. Even offensive line wise, I think we're good as long as we're healthy. It's the only thing I'm worried about is just it's a new system, new coaching staff, but we got some of the coordinators and stuff that we've already worked with before, so I'm hoping it's just going to be a nice smooth transition and we're going to win some games. I mean, we can't do any worse. So
right, yeah. Definitely. 4-12, 5-11. That's as bad as it gets, especially when you got Phillip Rivers at the helm. I'm sure he's ready to get back to winning. I'm sure that he doesn't like being, under 500 or being, second, third, and even fourth best that's been recently in the AFC West when most of his career we've been on top. Now, as far as coaching staff is concerned, I'm sure everyone has their doubts. At this point in time, we haven't really seen much of Anthony Lynn. We know Gus Bradley has done good things with Seattle. He created the Legion of Boom. To me, that's huge. A lot of guys say that he's a very good coach, that he's done a good job. Richard Sherman, Brandon Meanbane on the team, Corey Toomer, all have good things to say about Gus Bradley. Anthony Lynn, personally, I'm not sure how I feel about his offensive schemes yet. I was hoping to see a better running game the last 2 preseason games, But once again, it's preseason. You have to at least give him the benefit of the doubt for the time being until, I would say, week 4, week 5. You could say week 1, see how they run the ball. We ran the ball pretty well last year, even though we had the issues with the offensive line. So I don't think we can get worse, like you said. I don't think we can do any worse than 31st worst offensive line in the league. Melvin Gordon did what he did, 997 yards, 10 touchdowns. He did that with a horrible offensive line. So, like you said, even though it's a worry, it's not that big of a worry. But the thing that I do really like that I haven't seen in a long time is Coach Anthony Lynn does not deal with nonsense, and he does not like losing. Now, as much as I like Mike McCoy did not have the same fire. He did not have the same standards, I believe. I believe he was more of like a father figure type in a way that he's more nurturing, which isn't necessarily bad. But I think that is more of an offensive coordinator situation, which he is used to being an offensive coordinator. I don't feel like that is a job of a head coach to be the nurturing guy. I think the other coaches on the team are more suited to be the guy that kind of is like, all right, he chewed you out. I'm going to tell you how to fix it. I'm going to help you out. I like that Anthony Lynn holds people accountable. I like that Anthony Lynn takes responsibility not only with himself for the way that the team played, but he also holds the players accountable. And I don't think that we've seen coaches on the Chargers do that for some time, where they really go ahead and say, our guys didn't do this, our guys were low energy, our guys weren't flying, our guys weren't playing with purpose. And he said those things. He said those in interviews, and he's not afraid to say them. And I think that's important, because when you're a player, when you have a head coach, for the most part, most players want to appease, they want approval from the head coach. And so I think him setting that standard is a good step in the right direction. Now, whether or not he will translate that onto the field, I don't think it's going to be an issue, because you still have Ken Wisenhunt. Ken Wisenhunt is very good. He has head coached before. He has been on this team. He has worked with Phillip Rivers. So I'm not too worried about the coaching situation. Yes, the transition period obviously so far has been bumpy, but that's a given when you have a new system. And you have a new system on both sides of the ball. So if they can get it together and get the system in place this year and do good with the system and make it to playoffs next year, it will be even stronger. If they can make it to at least playoffs this year, they're a high playoff contender the next year. If they can go 9-7, 10-6 this year, you're looking at a possible 12-4 next year, 13-3 next year. So thank you for your input on that. Another thing.
And I just want to say I love the show, and thanks for putting it out. We needed this now that we got the Chargers. We needed something for the IE so we can get our information, know what's going on.
Hey, man,
so appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the support. I appreciate all the comments. Every comment, every message, every good piece of support. Always appreciated. Keep watching. I'm always going to be putting out uplifting, positive things to get fans and players, if they're watching, amped up and ready for the season, ready for the game. Thank God, man. Thank God, preseason, week 3. We only have one more to go after this. Today is the fight for LA, Rams versus Chargers.
Yeah, I'm going to be at that game.
Yeah,
I'm going to be at that game, baby.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, I'm going too. What do you think is going to be the outcome of today's game, and do you think it's going to be a big factor?
We're due, man. We're gonna win this game today. Just because they're gonna want to make a statement. Those other 2 preseason games, they don't matter. We're just seeing what we got, but I think we're still gonna evaluate today. But I think we want to actually make sure we win this game, just because we want to take LA.
Yeah, man. I mean, we want those bragging rights. We want to be able to say that we showed out against the other LA team. It's been the fight for LA for a while. A lot of people think we're losing. I think the better that people sleep on us, the better story it's going to become. I like the fact that we're the underdogs, and I like the fact that we got a lot of haters, because if we do rise, and I think we will, it's going to be glorious. What do you think the score is going to be today?
I have no clue on that.
No?
Yeah, I don't know.
Me personally, I think the first team offense is going to score at least 2 touchdowns. I think it'll be 14-0 by halftime. After that, I don't really care. I think if we are able to blow them out and have our way with them in the first half, that to me it doesn't really matter after that point.
And Mayweather's going to win. Mayweather.
Oh, Mayweather. I don't know, man. I think he's underestimating Conor, but we'll see, man. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the game. It's going to be a good Saturday for sports.
All right, well, I
one
hope
last
to see
thing,
you at
man.
the game. I hope I see you out there.
Hey, man, I hope I see you too. One more thing, man. One more thing. If you had to say which player you're most excited to see this year, and who do you think will do the best and shine the brightest, who is that player that you want to see make that jump?
Keenan Allen, baby. That's he was gonna have a big year last year, and
you and everybody else, man.
Fluke, injury, and
those damn injuries, man. You can't do nothing about them. But hopefully, Keenan Allen is healthy. He's ready to go. NFL.com is talking about having the most receptions in the league. So if he can do that, I'm excited to see that. All right, man. Once again, thank you for calling. I really appreciate it. Good thoughts, good talk. You have a good one, bro.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right, man.
Bye.
That was Mike Jones, everybody. Mike Jones. I like Mike Jones, man. To me, he look good. Now, one more thing on Ernesto Vega's bright side of the day. I don't know how many of you noticed, but our wide receivers, even the 5th and 6th and 7th string, to me, they looked very good. To me, Jeremy Davis did good things. Jamal Jones, besides his fumble. And that's going to happen with guys like that for the first couple games, especially in preseason. But I guarantee you he doesn't want to fumble the ball again. He's going to hold on to the ball. But Jamal Jones, he had 5 catches for 47 yards. Jeremy Davis had some good catches, 3 for 35. I think our wide receiving core is very deep. I think even if we get injured, I think even if Mike Williams doesn't come back, we're going to look very strong. And Phillip Rivers has done very well with no-name wide receivers in the past. I think he'll do very good with these guys. I think that's it. I think that's all I got for today, everybody. Once again, go Chargers. I hope to see you there at the Rams versus Chargers game. I hope we win. I hope you guys have an amazing Saturday. Go Conor McGregor. And everybody have a good day. Thank you for watching Bolt Up with Ernesto Vega. And that's it. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Maybe we'll be able to edit it. Maybe we won't. But we're going to go real quick. Thank my buddy on Instagram, Tanked Edits. Tank Edits. Picture of the day. Desmond King, everybody. That was another bright spot that I forgot to mention. Silly me. Desmond King, number 36, defensive back, looked phenomenal the last 2 games. Flying around the field, making plays, making pass deflections, making it hard for receivers. Got a interception week 1. Got a sack week 2. I mean, he looks like a guy that could break into the starting lineup. So I'm excited to see what Desmond King has to offer these next 2 games and eventually in the regular season. And I don't know, man. This guy has a lot of potential, and I'm really excited to see what he does. We got him for a steal. I believe we got him 5th round. Should have been in the 3rd round at least. We got him 5th round. Tom Telesco, Magic Guru again. Yeah, he gets injured players, but nothing you could do about that. Tom Telesco, in my opinion, has done a very good job in picking quality, good players. Hopefully now that we're at the new Hoag Performance Center, we can stay healthy, and we'll see what happens, guys. Once again, thank you for watching. This episode was brought to you by ChargersPartyBuzz.com for all your Party Buzz needs. Check it out, see what it's all about. And once again, thank you for watching. I love you guys. Appreciate it. Much love. Bolt up.